In a slight tweak to our Sensible Transfers series, we use today's video to ask, who could be the next head coach of Borussia Dortmund? Having spent big in the summer recruiting some of the most exciting talent in Germany, Borussia Dortmund still don't look totally convincing. Lucien Favre has yet to sway the growing dissenting voices, especially having relinquished the title last season to a comparatively weak Bayern. While Favre's reputation for tactical astuteness, developing young talent, and somehow defying the XG models is well deserved, his time at Dortmund has only yielded the DFL-Supercup and his job is reportedly under threat. So, if Favre is sacked, perhaps even during the Winterpause, who are the standout prospects to replace him? Dortmund would likely favour a coach who values a strong pressing game and a quick, incisive style of attacking, who can work with young talent and develop it, and who is used to working in German football. There is no ideal candidate, but we think we've identified 3 possible coaches who could occupy the Dortmund dugout successfully. So not one for the Winterpause, in truth, because why would Rose leave a Borussia Mönchengladbach side who were in the hunt for their first title since 76-77? Rose has breathed new life into the classic Gladbach style of fast, attractive football and a core of younger players, the approach that made them the darlings of German football during the 70s when they regularly contested the title against the Bayern Munich machine. However, sustained success for Rose is unlikely at the borussia-park, as they cannot really compete financially with the 2 power players in the league, Bayern and Dortmund, and so a move to Dortmund could be attractive at the season's end. Rose is a graduate of the Red Bull coaching machine. He worked under Jurgen Klopp at Mainz and, like Klopp, started coaching at the club. He then joined Lokomotiv Leipzig for a season before moving to Red Bull Salzburg, initially working with the youth system. He became head coach of the first team in 2017, winning 2 Austrian Bundesliga titles and reaching the semi-finals and then round of 16 of the Europa League before succeeding Dieter Hecking at Gladbach in the summer. Gladbach have generally fielded either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-1-2 this season. Rose likes his team to win possession back through an aggressive press and then break at pace, using the running ability of players like Marcus Thuram and Brelin Bolo to stretch defences. They are adept at generating wide overloads, with fullbacks pushing high, the midfield double pivot moving across to assist, and a mobile front line who are quick enough to assist in build-up out wide and then move into attacking positions centrally. Gladbach press heavily out wide against some teams, looking to provoke turnovers by swamping the wide areas. They are also adept at holding their 4-2-3-1 position centrally though, and stopping up the middle of the pitch if teams want to attack centrally. Rose tends to employ similar pressing triggers across games, but is definitely capable of adjusting the overall approach based on the opposition. Stylistically, Borussia Dortmund are more possession-focused in deep build-up than Rose's Gladbach, but the fluidity of the front 4 would suit him, while Dortmund can field a solid midfield double pivot or use Julian Weigl as more of a playmaking option. Rose would probably instigate a more assertive press, but this is a move that would fit manager and squad. It's just unlikely at this point in the season. After that, who knows? And here is how Dortmund could line up under Rose. The first of 2 out-of-work suggestions, Roger Schmidt, is also a product of the Red Bull conveyor belt, again at RB Salzburg, following a career in lower league German football, including a stint at Paderborn. He managed RB Salzburg from 2012 to 2014, quickly impressing with a style predicated on intensive pressing, counter-pressing, and extreme verticality in the 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2, now synonymous with Red Bull sides. Having won the Austrian Bundesliga and the Austrian Cup in 2013-14, Schmidt then took this style to Bayer Leverkusen in the Bundesliga with mixed success. He took Leverkusen to 4th place in Champions League in his first season, improved by 1 place the next season, and was then sacked in March 2017 with his side struggling. He also has a reputation for being aloof and has run into controversy, not least in 2016 when he was sent from the touchline but refused to go, leading to a suspension of play for 8 minutes until he agreed to depart. These issues could make him an unattractive candidate to German sides, but there's no doubt his style of football can be successful. He also helped turn Julian Brandt into a huge talent during his Leverkusen tenure. Schmidt's sides tend to use the 4-2-2-2 that looks like a 4-4-2 in a defensive pose. He prefers inverted wide players who drift inside and act as the creative hubs of the side, ahead of two deep-sitting midfielders who protect the flanks as the fullbacks make overlapping surges forwards. He likes all-purpose strikers, generally who can press, contest aerial balls, and drop off to facilitate attacks. Schmidt's pressing system is complex and highly energetic. His love of counter-pressing means that his sides will often look to go very direct from the back, not contest the ball, and then surge to counter-press, having lost possession in the first instance. And this can be a very effective attacking method. Defensively, Schmidt likes his teams to be horizontally compact, while pressing intensively, using the touchline as an additional defender and marking passing lanes as well as generally orientating by man, although they will press towards the ball in certain situations, such as boxing in a wider centre-back and seeking to turn the ball over high and wide. It's a complex system that relies heavily on the player's understanding and being willing to execute a physically and mentally demanding style, but it can be hugely effective. Now, he'd have to work out Dortmund's striking situation, as none of the players are an ideal fit for how he likes forwards to play. There could be an interesting freer role for Jadon Sancho though, alongside Paco Alcacer. And here's how a Schmidt-coached Dortmund could line up. Mauricio Pochettino is definitely one of the biggest names currently not in a job, and he's our pick to take over the reins at Borussia Dortmund. While language issues and a lack of experience of German football could count against the Argentine manager, almost everything else is in his favour. Charismatic and excellent at achieving player buy-in, he is the coach perhaps most likely to recreate the feel of the Klopp era. He's a pressing coach, has a strong track record of working with young players, and despite his lack of trophies, took Tottenham Hotspur to a Champions League final and did superbly well in North London, despite the club's financial priorities lying largely away from squad building. Pochettino tends to prefer a 4-2-3-1, which would suit Dortmund's current regular setup, although he did use a 4-3-1-2 more towards the end of his Spurs tenure to assist Harry Kane, trying to take some of the burden off the striker. Pochettino seems to have a philosophy more than a particular system. He likes his fullbacks to get high and his wingers to play in the half spaces as inverted wingers or second forwards. He favours quick pass and move football in the final third, with overloads generating opportunities to get players into space, and he likes his teams to press. In attack, versatility is important, as players particularly in the attacking four should be able to exchange positions with ease. In midfield, Pochettino tends to favour a ball winner and a press-breaking midfielder who can carry the ball well and effect quick transitions. The departure of Moussa Dembele did seem to presage some of Tottenham's issues, as Pochettino struggled to find the right balance in midfield. Axel Witsel is not Dembele, but he is a superb all-round midfielder who could take on some of that role, alongside either the passing of Weigl or the ball winning of Delaney. Otherwise, the squad looks suitable for Pochettino's style. Aggressive fullbacks, though Hakimi will likely return to Madrid after his loan finishes, and versatile and technical attackers, with Alcacer a predatory striker who can drop off. Here is how a Pochettino-coached Dortmund could line up. Pochettino is a proven high achiever, if not a winner yet, has the reputation and the charisma to establish himself at Dortmund, and will surely want his next job to be somewhere he has a realistic chance of winning trophies. Appointing Mauricio Pochettino would be Borussia Dortmund's sensible move for both parties.